Well, Boris Johnson also accused Barack Obama of hypocrisy for supporting the UK remaining in the EU. The Mayor of London said that America wouldn't dream of sharing her sovereignty, as the UK has done.
I just find it absolutely bizarre that we're being lectured by the Americans about giving up our sovereignty and giving up control when the Americans won't even sign up to the International Convention on the Law of the Sea, and let alone the International Criminal Court.
So is Boris right to lecture Barack about lecturing us? I'm joined now by the American writer and comedian Taylor Glenn and by the Conservative MEP Daniel Hannan, who is author of a new book, Why Vote Leave? Taylor, first, is Boris right that Americans wouldn't dream of giving up control the way that the UK arguably has in the EU?
Oh, Bojo, I think he got this one a little bit wrong, to be honest. My main worry with Boris Johnson right now is I've watched his enthusiasm the past week about Brexit, and my fear is this guy is a baseball cap and a Budweiser away from being your Donald Trump. I gotta say, I think you better keep your eye on him.
Daniel Hannan, that's a low blow, isn't it?
Well, OK, but the question was, would the Americans accept these limitations? You know, you could do a lot worse than to start with the Declaration of Independence and see how those phrases apply to our situation. A jurisdiction foreign to our Constitution, abolishing our free system of English laws, pretending to the power to legislate for us. This is about control. It's about being able to hire and fire the people who make our laws. Now, if Barack Obama were prepared to accept that, say, the Organization of American States had superior jurisdiction over Congress, could strike down national laws, if he was prepared to accept a Pan-American parliament in, Havana and a Pan-American central bank in Buenos Aires operating a Pan-American peso, then he'd be in a position to lecture us. But no other country in the world would do this.
All right, so Taylor Glenn, the US, for example, is the only Western nation that won't sign up to the International Criminal Court. There's a load of treaties that it won't sign, simply for this reason that it doesn't want to give up its sovereignty.
Well, I have to say personally, and I think probably a lot of Americans feel, the word sovereignty just makes me break out in hives, because I think if you look at the people that sort of fight for that sort of sovereignty and the letter of the law that you're speaking about, we have a series of presidential campaigns going on right now. Hold on, let me finish.
Call it democracy.
Let me finish. No, it's not the same thing. The people that are fighting for that sort of separatism right now in the U.S., look, we have presidential primaries going on right now that make the WWE look like a tasteful Shakespearean play. Those are the people who are fighting for that kind of sovereignty. So no, I'm not for it. And I'm frightened.
There, aren't you?
Absolutely. I think this is about an elitist club that are trying to break off, and I think it's highly suspicious that they're going for separatism right now.
Well,
not for it.
I'm not sure which of Shakespeare's plays is tasteful. Of all the adjectives I would apply to them, I'm not sure that'd be there. But look, nowhere else in the world are you expected to apologise for the fact that you want to live under your own laws. New Zealand is not about to join Australia. And people don't go around saying, oh, these dreadful Australo-skeptics, when are they going to understand that they're a small offshore island? Japan is not applying to join China. And people don't say, oh, these miserable Sino-skeptics, when are they going to realise that they've lost their empire? It is a normal, healthy thing for a democracy to make its own laws, trading and cooperating with its friends and allies all over the globe.
OK, Taylor, do you think it matters to Barack Obama which way the UK votes on this?
Of course it does, and I don't think it's a surprise at all that he is supporting what the majority of British citizens agree is the right way to go, which is to stay.
Well, it's very finely balanced, though, at the moment.
In terms of the statistics, I know. You know what? I read. Well, true. I read your article actually on Conservative Home. No, it was really good. It's the first time I've been to that particular website.
But does it matter to Barack Obama? Does it matter to Barack Obama which way we vote? Given that there's this, being the pivot to Asia, does it matter actually more his relationship with China?
To be fair, what he's saying is it's in America's interest for us to stay in. And I kind of get that. The European Union, since the end of the Cold War, has been a bit more protectionist, a bit more anti-American. And I kind of get the argument that says if you guys are in there, you'll make it a bit more internationalist, a bit more Atlanticist, a bit friendlier to us. But that isn't a good argument from our point of view. And when we see foreign leaders who have very often had their arms twisted by British leaders to kind of talk us down in the margins of G20 meetings or whatever, we should draw a distinction between what the global elites and the people who like the status quo favour and what's in the democratic and economic interest of the British people.
Well, look, I don't work in politics, which all that means is that I get paid less to make fun of people. But I think until I see an argument that shows me why Brexit would benefit the everyday person, I'm not for it. All I read is how much
we'd have
what an economic
350 million
shock
quid
to
a
the
week
system.
to spend on our own priorities.
I've read there's a £100 billion estimated economic shock to the UK.
Well, estimated by the people who are trying to convince us to stay in.
Are the pro-Brexit people going to send out a pamphlet to everybody after that happens saying, like, sorry, bear with us?
Yeah, I wish
'Cause
we
I think
had.
that would be even worse than the
I wish we had 10 million quid to send out
wasted.
pamphlets at taxpayers' expense. But no, if we didn't think we would be better off out financially, we wouldn't be arguing for it.
OK, very briefly, you've got to admit Boris is an asset to the campaign, isn't he?
I agree with the first 3 letters of that.
So you'd like him on your side. Taylor Glenn, Dan Hannan, thank you very much for joining us.